Hi everyone, my name's Harvey and this is my spike and trainer rotation for the 2025 season. If you're new here, I'm a UK based sprinter. I compete in the 60 metre, the 100 metre and the 200 metre events. My main focus is the 100, but I compete in the 60 metres in indoors and I do a few 200s in the outdoors to help with my 100. It's currently the indoor season in 2025, so I'm focusing on the 60 metres. So I'm recording my training weekly, including my track work, my gym work, racing, and everything in between in the Breaking 7 series on my channel. Link to that playlist will be in the description if you're interested. So let's kick it off with the top row. So over here, we've got my gym shoes. I think they're called The Total, Adidas The Total. They're a zero drop shoe and they've got a very solid flat base sole so that when I'm pushing into the floor with heavy squats and heavy deadlifts, my foot isn't unstable and it's not going anywhere. So there's no cushion in this shoe. It's just all about stability. Also, if I'm catching a clean or a snatch, I want to be able to hit the ground and know that my foot's not going to wobble anywhere or twist anywhere. And that's what these are really good for. Next up, we've got my main track shoe, my main track trainer, which is the Adidas Adizero Adios 8. So this is a really fast shoe if you were doing maybe 5Ks or 10Ks on the road or something like that. It's got a fair bit of cushioning, but it's not too much, and they're super lightweight. But for me, I'll use them for tempo runs, for warm-ups, for anything I do on the track, basically, in a trainer. Then we've got my everyday shoe. This is what I wear to work, roundabout. I do have other trainers as well, but this is sort of my everyday go-to shoe. It's just a cheap pair of Pumas. Got them on sale. They've got this soft ride cushioning, which is quite nice, but essentially they're just an everyday shoe. So that's what I'll be wearing. Then we've got the Hoka Speedgoat 4. Now, I actually did a marathon in these shoes because before I started sprinting, I did long distance running, only for a short period because I was rubbish at it. But I bought these for the marathon. They're actually a trail running shoe, so they've got a really good grip and a fair bit of cushioning. And what I use these for now is if I'm doing tempo grass work or running on any kind of muddy hills. Sometimes I'll use football boots, which I haven't got here, but and if I do wear football boots or a spike, then I'll be warming up in these. So that's what I use these for. And then we've got my grass spikes. So this is actually the first pair of spikes I ever got. When I was at school running the 100 meters in sports day, this is what I wore. They're, I think, a middle distance spike because they got a little bit of cushioning. There's no kind of stiffness to them at all. But they are the Puma TFX Star, so super old. These are a decade old now. So yeah, but over a decade old. But I mean, I still use them on the grass if I'm doing grass sprints and things because I don't really want to use my other spikes. Now let's get into the interesting stuff. So these are the spikes that I've been wearing. These three are what I have worn in the past, and these two is what I'm wearing this year. So we'll start off what I've worn in the past. This is the first pair of spikes when I got back into sprinting a few years ago, and they were super cheap online, like 25 quid, but they're the Nike Zoom Rival S. They're not very stiff, but they're a little bit stiffer than the middle distance grass spikes. And to be honest, they set me up for most of what I did in my first year of sprinting. Ran 11.21 windy in those, 11.34 wind legal, I think, and like a 23.2 200. I've also, my 60 meter PB is in these. So my 714 is actually in these shoes because these are the only spikes that I had when I ran my first ever 60, which is my PB, 7.14. I then got these, which I've run all my 100 meters and 200 meter PBs in. So I've ran my 10.98 windy, my 11.08 wind legal, and my 22.32 200 meter PB, all in these spikes. So these are the Nike Air Zoom Maxfly. I think they were the second colorway that came out. I thought they went cool with the kit. I was running for Oxford at the time. And then I ran in those for about a year, and then I picked these up. So this is another iteration of the Nike Air Zoom Maxfly, just different color. And I haven't actually PB'd in these. I had a lot of issues with injuries and things. So if you're interested in checking out my journey so far, I do have a playlist and I have a whole video where I kind of go through everything that happened up until this season. So I'll leave a link for that in the description if you're interested. But on both the sets of Maxflies that I've had a bubble pop. So this bubble popped on this shoe and this bubble popped on that shoe. So both the inside of the left foot on these and the right foot on these. So there was a period very briefly at the end of last season where I was running in alternate pairs of Maxflies because these haven't had a bubble pop. And when I was racing in these before the bubbles popped, I trained in these, sometimes in these, like tempos in these on the tempos in these or these on the track, and then fast stuff in these and racing in these. So I got these a couple of years ago. So I'll sort of due some new spikes because they're all getting a little bit old and I've burst the bubbles on both those sets of Maxflies. So these are the two spikes that I've got for this year in 2025. So I bought these. These are the Adidas Adizero Sprintsstars. They're a really cool spike, but again, they're just not that stiff. So I forgot to mention the Maxflies are pretty stiff. Can get a little bit of wiggle in them. I don't know if that's just because I've worn them a lot, but you know, they're super stiff. But these, they're not. I think in terms of training, it's not good to train with the full carbon plate and super stiff spikes all the time because it can be harsh on your joints. So that's why I've always kind of kept a pair of non-super spikes to train in. And that's why I bought these for this year. So I've done most of my winter training in these. And then this year I'm racing in, I went for Adidas this year because I've had two sets of Maxflies and the bubbles burst on both. These are the Adidas Adizero Prime SP3s. Now these are super stiff. So I'd say these are stiffer than the Maxflies. We do have foam, like the Maxfly is like a bubble system. This is more like a foam. It is Light Strike Pro foam, which is the same foam that's on my trainer. And I'm actually liking these so far. You know, I like the way they feel on my feet. I like the way they feel when I'm running on them. The bubbles always kind of made a bit of a weird noise when I ran on them, which I never really got used to, whereas I feel like these are doing pretty well. So I like, you know, they also feel similar because when I had the Nikes, you know, I was training in Nikes, racing in Nikes. You know, there's a bit of a different feel to Adidas, how they kind of fit your foot. So it's nice to be training and racing in the same pair, in the same brand. But yeah, hopefully we'll be able to say that we got PBs in the 60, the 100 and the 200 with the new super spikes. So that's my shoe and spike rotation for 2025. There are quite a few pairs here, and to be honest, I'm not really going to be wearing these three now. And as we're going to be on the track mostly, these two sort of are obsolete as well. So whilst I'm racing and training now for 2025, it's mainly going to be these in the gym, these for racing, these on the track and for warming up and tempos and things, and these as my everyday trainers. If I do any grass work in the summer, it will probably be these that I run in and maybe these that I warm up in, and I probably won't use these again unless both of those break and I can't get a new pair in time. I hope you found this video useful, just to see what kind of shoe rotation setup I've got. Maybe that'll help you pick out which spikes you're going to choose or which trainers you're going to choose. I would highly recommend, if you do have something like the super spikes, that you have a non-super spike pair to train in as well, so that you're not always training in the super spikes. You can probably get away with not having gym shoes and just having trainers for everything, and your trainers could maybe be your everyday trainers. The only downside to that is they're going to wear a bit quicker and they won't last as long. So I'm hoping that I can get a good few years out of these, but we'll see how that goes. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more, or you're interested in any of my other content, including reviews, my weekly training videos, or seeing how fast non-sprinters can run the 100, then be sure to subscribe. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, and if you have any questions about my setup or anything you'd like to see in upcoming videos, then drop a comment and I'll be sure to get back to you. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you found it useful, hope you found it enjoyable, and I'll see you in the next one.